departing graduates and guests. Please remain standing while I invite Frank Rizizzi to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. At the conclusion of that, kindly remain standing for the for the national anthem performed by the high school choir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Seniors from the choir, please join the choir up on the risers. Please be seated. Welcome to the Northport High School commencement ceremony. We join here together at home to celebrate the achievements of the class of 2021. My name is Daniel Dan Buskey, and I have had the distinct privilege of serving as principal for this outstanding group of young men and women. It is my pleasure to introduce a number of guests seated behind me, as well as many seated with our students. I ask that you please hold your applause until everyone has been introduced. President of the Board of Education, Mr. David Bedaines. Trustees of the Board of Education, Mrs. Victoria Buscarino, Dr. Larry Lacopoli, Mr. Thomas Lochran, Ms. Donna McNaughton, Mr. David Stein. Trustee-elect, Mrs. Carol Taylor. Former Board Trustee, Jennifer Thompson. The Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Robert Banzer. The Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources, Ms. Irene McLaughlin. The Assistant Superintendent for Business, Mr. Robert Howard. The Assistant Superintendent for Special Education and Student Support Services, Mr. Louis Bonadonna. The Assistant Superintendent for Teaching and Learning, Dr. Dana Boschnick. Director of Fine and Performing Arts, Dr. Izette Mergen. Director of Special Education, Ms. Allison Giamo. Director of Student Support Services, Ms. Shannon D'Antuono. District Chairperson of Mathematics, Ms. Robin Rand. District Chairperson of Social Studies, Mr. Sean Hurley. Principal of Norwood Avenue School, Dr. Michael Genovese. Assistant Principal of Northport Middle School, Dr. Chelsea Brown. The Assistant Principals for the senior class, Dr. Carlos Falcone, and I believe watching via live stream right now from his mother's 70th birthday party in Alabama, Mr. Terrence Hinson. The guidance counselors for our senior class, Miss Holly Alicanti, Miss Kristen Katz, Miss Amanda Cufo, Miss Laura DeSantis, Miss Lenore Kimiatek, Miss Jenny Canap, Miss Kristen Orrig, Miss Marianne Powers, Miss Catherine Tubner, our band director, Miss Lynn Croman, our choral director, and soon-to-be retiree, Miss Ellen McCarthy. We welcome many members of our faculty who are here in support of our students. Certainly teachers, especially after this year and your efforts over the last 4 years, the accomplishments of these students before you would not have been possible. So I would like to say thank you to all of the teachers that are here with us today. Also present today are 3 extremely important members of our staff: District Clerk Beth Nystrom, Mrs. Patricia Gardner, and Mrs. Nancy Rapp. Students, the class of 2021, I ask that you now please take the opportunity to thank the distinguished guests who are here with you on this beautiful morning. And that is your parents, your grandparents, your guardians, your family, and your friends. Please show your appreciation for your parents who have supported you over the last 4 years. Should we try that again? Students, at this time I ask that you please show your appreciation for your parents who have supported you over the last 4 years. Parents, we good with that one? Okay. At this time, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce the Tour Choir once again, as they will perform Fields of Gold under the direction of Miss Ellen McCarthy. this time, I would like to welcome to the stage to introduce the salutatorian for the class of 2021, senior class, Assistant Principal Dr. Carlos Falcone.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Having the privilege to know Griffin Crafa is to understand the depth of his exceptional talent, the bright creativity of his alluring humor, and sincerity of his kind humility. Earning an impressive grade point average of 103.79, Griffin has earned the title Salutatorian of the Class of 2021 in the Northport, East Northport School District. This sagacious young man is enthusiastically engaged, extraordinarily inquisitive, and exceptionally astute. Griffin's work ethic is exemplary, producing a depth and width of knowledge evident in the detail and clarity of his work. Self-motivated, curious, and passionate, Mr. Crafa will be recognized with the honorable designation Summa Cum Laude. As an international baccalaureate diploma candidate, Griffin has chosen to pursue the most rigorous curriculum our district has to offer, earning perfect scores in the majority of his courses throughout high school. Griffin has given evidence that he is truly exceptional. Griffin was named a commended student in the 2021 National Merit Scholarship Program, proof of his intellect on a national scale. Griffin's insatiable desire to learn and to challenge himself has only multiplied over the years, and I am sure it will grow exponentially in the college setting. There is a common thread of selflessness and generosity, complemented by modesty, whimsicality, that attracts teachers and students to this true gentleman. In all that he does, Griffin finds a way to help those around him. In addition to balancing the demands of his challenging coursework, he still finds the time to volunteer at our local library as a page. This fine young man also donates his time to Respite, a recreational program for children with special needs offered through a local church. Between his sophomore and junior years, Griffin coordinated a summer concert for Respite where he offered his house as a place to practice for 6 weeks. Distinguished amongst his peers, Griffin was chosen to be co-president of the Northport chapter of the National Honor Society, offering an outstanding number of community service hours, including the freshman orientation and open house before the COVID pandemic. Deeply committed to our school and the Northport community, Griffin gives his time selflessly to a wide variety of activities and takes on the responsibility of leadership roles. As a member of the Northport chapter of the Math Honor Society, Griffin was selected to be co-chair for tutoring. Musically inclined, Griffin is a proud clarinet player in our award-winning Northport High School Tiger Marching Band. Griffin was given the coveted title of rank leader, and Mr. Crafa earned the honor of being a band officer. As a member of the Tri-M Music Honor Society, Griffin tutors elementary-age children for the annual Spring NYSSMA Festival. As the Port Press Editor-in-Chief, Griffin inspired our student body throughout the pandemic. Devoted to a healthy lifestyle, Griffin frequently bikes a local 15-mile route to Eaton's Neck and even participated in the 5-borough tour of New York City, covering 40 miles. To know Griffin is to love him and to be exhausted while following his amazing path in life. The Northport community is exceptionally proud to celebrate this outstanding individual. Griffin Crafa, we wish him all the best at Georgetown University next year. Congratulations. Griffin, come on up.
Good morning, Superintendent Banzer, board members, administrators, teachers, parents, family members, friends, and fellow graduates. we did it. After 13 years of hard work and perseverance, we have made it to graduation. To quote IB physics teacher Mr. Guido, we have made it up the mountain, and the view from the top is certainly worth it. On our journey up the mountain, we tackled various terrain, some of which was wide, gentle, and grassy, and some of which was narrow, steep, and icy. The map that accompanied us on our journey up the mountain was often clear, but at times, paths diverged. At times, it was necessary to chart our own course. We did so from our earliest days. Looking back, many may remember the reputation our class had in elementary school. We were frequently told that we were disobedient, mischievous, and above all, full of energy to the point of being rambunctious. On the first day of school, our new teachers would say, "We've heard about your grade." During lunch and at recess, our teacher aides would lament over their inability to gain control of us. In a way, this legacy carried over into middle school. The NMS class of 2017 was indeed rowdy. All it took was a Mary Beth Tinker assembly, and 7th grade lunch disintegrated into a riot over cell phone use. But then we entered high school, and then what was once rowdiness began to manifest itself as passion. Passion for athletics, passion for music, passion for service, and passion for academics. More importantly, this energy was converted into resiliency. Perhaps this is the reason we, the Northport High School class of 2021, have weathered the COVID-19 pandemic so well. To an outside observer, we sacrificed much of our last year and a half of high school. It's true that we missed out on homecoming, common shows, and musical events. But to the class of 2021, our year was simply readjusted. We celebrated the end of our high school years at the Final 50. We achieved a senior victory at Battle of the Classes. We had a prom. And we are here today, graduating as a class. Yes, virtual learning was hard, but it is our energy, the same energy that earned us our troublesome reputation in elementary and middle school, that helped us get through what may have been the most difficult scholastic year in recent history, and what brings us here today. We've heard it said so often, 4 years go by quickly. But these words of wisdom from administration, our counselors, our teachers, and our parents couldn't be more true. It seems like it was yesterday when we were awkwardly exploring the halls during freshman orientation, a desperate attempt to memorize our schedules before the first day of school. 4 years ago, high school trepidations loomed over us. Aside from logistical concerns, how am I going to find my classes? Where do I eat lunch? Where are the bathrooms? Is there a third floor pool? There were worries about the workload, social life, and the infamous college process. 4 years later, we've somehow made it through each of these, although finding an open bathroom is still tricky, even for the most experienced senior, and no one, at least to my knowledge, has found the third floor pool yet. And we've had some fun along the way. Some of our happiest memories have been made in Northport. We all remember Battle of the Classes 2020 and how our class, then juniors, came close to clinching victory over the class of 2020, though we know what really happened. We have all run frantically to the library to print a paper due next period, only to discover that it is closed for testing, or worse, that the printer is down. Band members have withstood hot, cold, and the Disney flu, while those involved with powdered wigs have redefined what it means to stay late at school. The AP Euro gang bonded over Band of Brothers and bagpipes, while AP World kids fondly reminisce over Quiz Fest. Student athletes and mathletes alike have made Northport proud of interscholastic competitions, most recently with boys and girls lacrosse winning Long Island championships, as DECA and Mott's Trial have shown off at states. Through Interact, Key Club, and the National Honor Society, over 100 Thanksgiving dinners were assembled for needy families in our community. Students of 60,000 traveled the world and our local community to help the homeless. And so leaving Northport High School is bittersweet. We will miss our teachers, we will miss our school and its activities, and most of all, we will miss each other. Then again, it's bittersweet chocolate that makes the best brownies. Our time at Northport High School will serve as the starting point on our maps. Whatever mountains we climb, whatever we accomplish, the roads we travel will always lead back to Northport. So today, we thank those we've leaned on over the past 13 years, and on whom we will continue to lean in the future. We thank our teachers, our counselors, and the administration. We thank our parents. Most importantly, we thank each other. Just last month, the Friends Reunion premiered. The 6 actors and actresses who made 90s television became a family over 10 years of filming. So when Rachel, Monica, Phoebe, Joey, Chandler, and Ross said goodbye to each other at the end of the last season, the cast exchanged farewells too. And more than 15 years later, the lyrics of the Friends theme song ring true. The Friends are still there for each other, as we will be for our fellow members of the class of 2021. As our future unfolds, our maps will go bigger. Sometimes in straight lines, but other times in windy detours. Our maps may rip, in which case we'll patch them up and carry on. In any case, laughter is key. Sometimes, all that is needed to push that extra step is laughter. And though we may slip, trip, or fall as we climb more mountains, will eventually make it to the top, where the view will be worth it. The mountain on which we now sit is just one of many. And while today's commencement ceremony begins the relaxing descent from the top, in a few short months we'll have to open our maps up again as we begin the ascent of another peak. When we finish summiting that mountain, we'll use our maps to climb another, and another, and another after that. Our maps are small right now, but that's okay. For commencement is the fold that opens the next section of our maps and the next chapter of our lives. Thank you, and congratulations to the Northport High School class of 2021.
Before I present the class of 2021 to the Board of Education for the conferment of diplomas, I would like to take an opportunity to say a few words to this exceptional class of young men and women. However, what does a principal share with a group of graduation candidates as they prepare to embark on their post-secondary career in the waning days and weeks of a global pandemic that has literally impacted every facet of your lives for the last 15 months? What advice could I possibly give you as some parting wisdom as you prepare to leave the four walls of this high school? Do I speak about resilience, a word you have often heard this year? Do I speak about what many people have often called the lost year, and why I feel that taking a deficit viewpoint such as this is not only disingenuous, but also flat out wrong? After the last 15 months, in a world of swirling regulations, guidelines, and at times utter insanity, all I can say is I have absolutely no idea what to say to you today. And a year and a half ago, that would have been a very uncomfortable thing to admit. However, there is something that I have learned to be comfortable with recently. And that's the idea of not knowing something and recognizing the power that lies within that concept, because it opens one's mind and it assumes a growth mindset as opposed to a deficit mindset. Please allow me to share a story with you that I learned recently that gives an example of what I'm speaking about. In the blazing heat of August 1949, there were a group of tremendously brave young men who were dropped from the Montana sky. They were not professional skydivers or thrill seekers, but rather a group of smoke jumpers, elite wildland firefighters who were attempting to battle a blaze at the base of Man Gulch. The foreman of the group was a man by the name Wagner Dodge. He led his men towards the fire, requiring a tough hike down rocky terrain of more than a quarter mile. When they arrived, they saw that the fire was now shooting flames 30 to 40 feet in the air and moving directly at them at a pace that would cover the length of 2 football fields in less than 1 minute. By 5:45 p.m., it became evident that they were not going to be able to contain the fire, and the retreat order was given. These men now transitioned from fight to flight. This meant running uphill over a steep incline through knee-high grass, carrying axes, saws, and 30 pounds of equipment. Over the next 8 minutes, they managed to retreat to approximately 200 yards from the top of the ridge and their eventual safety. However, it was looking bleaker and bleaker. The fire was advancing far too rapidly to outrun it. It was at that point that Wagner Dodge stopped, bent over, and took out a matchbook. He lit the matches and threw them in the surrounding grass. Needless to say, the remaining crew was baffled by his actions, and 12 of them continued to run towards the ridge. What they did not know was that Dodge was devising a survival strategy. He built what was called an escape fire. By burning the grass ahead of the fire, he was hoping to remove the fuel for the advancing flames. He doused his handkerchief in water from his canteen, covered his face with it, and lay face down in the charred ground as fire swirled around him. He ended up surviving on the smallest amount of oxygen lying close to the ground. In the end, he was one of only 3 of the 15 smoke jumpers to survive that tragedy. The other 2 men were able to make it to the ridge. While one may assume that those 2 men survived due to their physical fitness, Dodge survived due to his mental fitness. Now, please do not confuse mental fitness with intelligence. While it is true that the smarter you are, the more problems you can solve, Dodge proved with his survival fire that the ability to rethink a situation and unlearn what you've been taught is sometimes more important than amassing intelligence. Do not get too comfortable knowing what you know. Do not rest on your laurels and hang on your beliefs instead of grappling with new ones. We do this all the time. When your clothes are out of style, you refresh your wardrobe. When your kitchen is no longer in style, it becomes outdated, you update your kitchen. However, when it comes to our opinions and our knowledge, we seize up and freeze. Isn't it ironic that some people feel totally comfortable mocking somebody, perhaps for using outdated technology, yet many of the opinions we use in arguments are older than that technology? Don't rest with what makes you feel good, but rather seek ideas that will make you think hard. Wagner Dodge survived because of his ability to rethink the situation he was presented with. His fellow smoke jumpers did not follow his lead because they clung to their knowledge, which suggested he was absolutely crazy for lighting a fire in the middle of a wildfire. Who can blame them? An escape fire was something that had never been done, and it was not part of their training. It was 100% improvisation. Our ways of thinking and our knowledge can weigh us down, and we don't bother to question until it's too late. This was evident in the Man Gulch disaster, because it was actually a fire that did not need to be fought. It was in a remote area, and there was no threat to property or human life. However, the smoke jumpers were following a protocol and a procedure that was devised 100 years earlier, and it would not be until 30 years after this disaster that the United States Forest Service would amend their procedures regarding whether or not all fires in the wild should be extinguished. As you approach the end of your journey here at Northport High School, I implore you to set yourself free of opinions and knowledge that do not serve you well. Seek to understand others and anchor yourself in flexibility as opposed to consistency in the ways things have always been done. Learn to rethink. It will help you generate new situations, new solutions to old problems, and it will help you evaluate old solutions when presented with new problems. And it is my hope that it will lead you down a path to learning more from the people around you and living a more rewarding life. When you are able to do that, you will feel like Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, when she steps into a world of color out of the monochrome. Once you see those vivid colors, you will not want to return to the boredom of the monochromatic world of what you previously knew. Do not fall into a default mode of regress instead of progress for the sake of being comfortable. These are your first steps today, commencement, which means beginning. The journey cannot end because the mission has been accomplished. Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos signs his annual letter to his shareholders with the same cryptic message every year. It remains day one. After 4 years of doing this, he finally elaborated why. He explained that day 2 would be stasis, followed by irrelevance and excruciatingly painful decline. Therefore, it must always remain day 1. Seems like an appropriate message to end on. As you prepare to leave us here, let today remain day 1, and every day after remain day 1 as well. As we have moved through the last 4 years together, I hope your dreams have been realized and have come alive. As you leave us, I charge you to find problems that need to be solved, rethink their solutions, and allow pursuit to help shape you as you mature. Remember, long-term satisfaction comes from solving problems and serving people, implementing lots of hard work, often with delayed gratification and, above all, sacrifice. Do not be afraid to embrace what you do not know, but rather recognize the power that lies within that paradigm. If there's anything that we have learned over the last 15 months, it's that flexibility is underrated. Graduation candidates, you have been a class of doers. You are the activists of the future, and I believe that your shared experiences here at Northport High School have afforded you the opportunity to build a solid foundation and have prepared you for whatever life will throw your way. Every door is open to you now. Your memory of your times here will echo in your minds and your hearts for the rest of your lives. You have been integral members of the student body at Northport High School, and the impact that you have made as a class has enabled our school to further its reputation as a prominent educational institution that promotes excellence in all areas of study and performance and produces accomplished individuals who are committed, civic-minded humanitarians of fine character and passionate spirit. 4 years ago, you entered here as young, curious children, but you leave here today as mature, confident young men and women. We have all had the honor of witnessing your growth academically, emotionally, and socially, and we stand here today in awe of your accomplishments and the fine individuals that you have become. Through all that you have accomplished during your high school years, you have contributed greatly to the learning community that is Northport High School, and you have left a legacy for the underclassmen to follow. There's a very strong bond that unites you as having grown together as a class while celebrating wonderful achievements and events, as well as dealing with some of the most challenging circumstances any student could deal with. As a class, you have distinguished yourself through academic excellence, athletic achievements, so close at the Battle of Classes last year, Griffin, accomplishments in art and music, and through countless acts of service to the school and the greater community at large. Throughout your years here at Northport High School, you have challenged the boundaries of excellence and have consistently succeeded in raising the bar for yourselves, other students who will follow in your footsteps, and the underclassmen coming up through the system. Your amazing energy and spirit will be greatly missed here at Northport High School. I thank you for your contributions to our great school community, and I stand here today to say congratulations on all of your outstanding accomplishments, class of 2021. So here's the part that I have to say before you can graduate. Superintendent Banzer, President Bedaines, members of the Board of Education, the graduation candidates seated before you have met the New York State requirements for high school graduation, and it is with great pride that I present to you the class of 2021.
Echo Valley. Alexa Lasher. Denisabel Aguirre. Sophia Lamendola. Patrick Ahern. Megan Lavin. Ty Allen. KJ Lavoy. Sophia Alaco. Catherine Leahy. Isabella Anton. Amber Leininger. Jude Anton. Noelia Leon Brizula. Ava Arce. Alex Levick. Andrew Argyris. Gabrielle Liberatasholi. Samuel Aronson. Juliette Liberatasholi. James Atkinson. Lindsay Linval. Kayleen Baker. Jamie Leonetti. Isabella Barbagallo. Alyssa Litch. Julie Barbier. Erica Lorenzen. Mark Barron. Nicholas Lascalzo Jr. Amanda Bass. Ryan Lewis. Andrew Becker. Peter Luby. Dylan Bear. Daniel Lugo. Ryan Bell. Jacob Maldevere. Michaela Benchamal. Francesca Mallon. Emily Berger. Philip Mancino. Caitlin Berger. Matthew Marco Trigiano. Grace Berkery. Devin Marshall. Cooper Bernier.
Shaylin Martinez.
Aaron Burnson.
David Martinez Granados.
Anthony Batano.
Rudy Mastrocinque.
John Bolello.
Idar Matthews.
Emma Blanco.
Brooke Matura.
Jesse Blitz.
Matthew Morrow.
Andrew Blum.
Cody Maury.
Ariel Bloom.
Spencer Meyer.
Christopher Belitho.
Ryan McCarthy.
Jessica Bonilla Hernandez.
Alexis McCrate.
Bridget Bost.
Thomas McDonough.
Matthew Boyle.
Emma McDonald.
Max Bracci.
Maximilian McElroy.
Ryan Brennan.
James McKechnie.
Joseph Buchanan.
Liam McKenna.
Bridget Buckmaster.
Megan McKenna.
Camden Burke.
Brady McLaughlin.
Jake Balanchuk.
Aileen McPartland.
Jake Buttacoli.
Colin McQuaid.
Joseph Cabrera.
Aaron McRae.
Kyle Camanzuli.
Tian Minen.
Anthony Canales.
Olivia Messina.
Ethan Brazier.
Jacob Mazowski.
Joy Cartwright.
Nina Miller.
Lauren Cash.
Zambika Mitchell.
William Canales.
Chase Monaco.
Cameron Canfield.
Sarah Monroy.
Yardley Cante.
Hannah Morowski.
Olivia Capisi.
Jake Moria.
Rafe Carner.
Vincent Mascarelli.
Abigail Carr.
Matthew Mosier.
Macaulay Carroll.
Connor Mulligan.
Edward Castellazzo.
Brandon Mulry.
Gabrielle Castellazzo.
Gracie Money.
Carlin Castro.
Aaron Munson.
John Anthony Catalanato.
Matthew Morowski.
Dominic Catogio.
Gavin Murdoch.
Michael Catrone.
Kieran Murphy.
Justin Kavanaugh.
Aaron Navis.
Charles Sella.
Austin Noof.
Tobin Sentimore.
Matthew Knock.
Valerie Charlotte.
Christina Novak.
Brianne Chave.
Shannon O'Boyle.
Ingrid Chavez Mesa.
Gabrielle O'Brien.
Elvis Chavez Mesa.
Madison Olderwald.
Kieran Schottner.
Lara O'Dore.
Bailey Cody.
Madeline Oliver.
James Collier.
Matthew Olson.
Jessica Conacher.
Justin Oldhoff.
James Connor.
Gavin O'Malley.
William Connor.
Aijane Orr.
Daniel Costello.
Skylar Palumbo.
Tyler Cotter.
Mia Pancari.
Nicholas Cox.
Nicholas Panetta.
Griffin Crappa.
Aiden Pollock.
Emma Kraft.
Christian Pastori.
Allison Crossley.
Donald Pavoni.
Matthew Cruz.
Emerson Payne.
Alexa Kubakati.
Bruce Peden.
Colin Culhane.
Joseph Pellegrino.
Devin Cullen Trezaire.
Carla Pidwan.
Juliana Curcio.
Ava Picciano.
Michael Curran.
Michael Pinzone.
Eric Cusimano.
Samuel Piccolo.
Joseph Cotolo.
Dylan Piscatello.
Emily DeMauro.
Augusta Pichel.
Annabella D'Ambrosio.
Thomas Pickvick.
Tara D'Amico.
Gabriel Ponce de Leon.
Liam DeRigo.
Luke Pop.
Larkin Davies.
John Posilico.
Maxwell DeBrino.
Andrew Posner.
Robert Del Pizzo.
Angelos Poulos.
Joseph Del Priest.
Matthew Powers.
James D'Elia.
Connor Quinn.
Ava DiLiberti.
Marcelo Quiroga.
Megan Delamarco.
Amir Qureshi.
Emma DeMarco.
Adrian Romanetti.
Nicholas DeMarco.
Frank Rasizi.
Ella Dangler.
Morgan Reel.
Violet D'Annunzio.
Ryan Reed.
William DeRiso.
Anthony Restivo.
Leela Desai.
Christopher Rochelle.
Sophia De Silva.
Olivia Reiner.
Timothy Devine. Vivian DeVoe.
Richardson.
Luke Diaz.
Maya Rickman.
Quinton
Jennifer
Dixon.
Rios.
Go ahead.
Paul Ritter.
Luca DiPietro.
Timothy Robinson.
Michael Dosi.
Mildred Rodas Pinto.
Benjamin Donders.
Samantha Rom.
Stephen Dorino.
Cole Ronan.
Christopher Dowd.
Alexandra Rose.
Drankwalter.
Jake Rosenfeld.
Megan Dunat.
Noah Rosenzweig.
Ava Dunpack.
Travis Rue.
Madeline Dwyer.
Ryan Roof.
Sienna Ray Edwards.
Angelina Saccone.
Sari Elkins.
Jamie Safanti.
Sean Elliott.
Koya Sato.
Leonardo Ing.
Emily Salvin.
Isabella Estevez.
Jake Santamaria.
Ryan Farrington.
Nicole Santamoro.
Samuel Feinstein.
Margaret Som.
Justice Felice.
Jamie Saturno.
Jack Fernandez.
Aiden Sawchik.
Louis Fiorino.
Michael Scalisi.
Thomas Fitzgerald.
Lily Schatz.
Liam Fodor.
Jonathan Sheedy.
Margaret Forbes.
Mackenzie Schubart.
Alyssa Forte.
Jason Schwartz.
Abby Fortuna.
Michael Scorsha.
Casey Fortunato.
Vivian Sebesta.
Nicole Foster.
Emily Seeger.
Cameron Fox.
Amelia Semple.
Christopher Francis.
Nicole Sapesi.
Stephen Francis.
Caroline Schaffery.
Araceli Franco.
Nicole Schaffery.
Claire Freese.
Aiden Sheehan.
Mia Freer.
Megan Sheridan.
Christopher Fry.
Joseph Sierra.
Vincent Gaddis.
Adam Seasner.
Joseph Gate.
Megan Smith.
Connor Gallagher.
Alessandra Saletti.
Kyle Gallagher.
Kyle Spadaro.
Brandon Garnier Winkler.
Alexi Sperling.
Jocelyn Garofalo.
Emma Sperling.
Hannah Goman.
Lauren Spinner.
Riley Gayer.
Emily Starrin.
Nicole Garris.
Scott Stellick.
Terry Gerlach.
Patrick Stenick.
Anna Gibbons.
Rocco Stola.
Sydney Gilmore.
Derek Stratton.
Elias Giuliano.
Angus Sterner.
Emily Goldie.
Carolee Rodelli Sully.
Lucy Goldner.
Sean Soriano.
Joseph Gonzalez.
Nicholas Tabone.
Robert Gonzalez.
Gavin Tyner.
Mackenzie Graham.
Daniel Thompson.
Emma Grasso.
Lauren Thompson.
Christopher Gravina.
Daniel Taberzi.
Julia Graziano.
Thomas Tsunami Tini.
Aiden Greenfield.
Andrew Titman.
Jake Grillo.
Juliana Chernholm.
Hannah Gross.
Delilah Triana.
Annie Gruen.
Tristan Triolo.
Madeline Guarnieri.
Elizabeth Trotter.
Hunter Luciardo.
Aiden Variali.
Joseph Guidetti III.
Isabella Boza.
Kobe Guam.
Brian Wagner.
Emma Halbrin.
Lily Wallatower.
Will Harnos.
Jake Wallace.
Kyle Hartzley.
Tara Walsh.
Kyle Hawkins.
Caroline Webb.
Patrick Healy.
Alexandra Weber.
Dylan Heinzman.
James Wiedenman.
John Henderson.
Brian Weiss.
Shannon Hennahan.
Kathleen West.
Liam Herbst.
Caitlin Westall.
Aiden Hickman.
Madison White.
Megan Hickman.
Liam Wine.
Connor Higgin.
Alexa Wing.
Ashley Hinton.
Aaron Winigar.
Sean Homan.
Christian Zavala.
Molly Hoffman.
Manuel Zavala.
Wade Holden.
Andrew Olba.
Alyssa Infranco.
Joseph Panaman.
Ryan Inzerillo.
Lettuce Corona.
Savannah Jackson.
Sam Everett.
Daniel Jacobson.
Chloe Hackinson.
Tayu Jin.
Kaylee Granados Martinez.
Gordon Johnson.
Timothy Huser.
Hope Jorgensen.
Lily Cranenberg.
Patrick Judd.
Megan Cranenberg.
Kato Judson Taranishi.
Andrew Kuhn.
Ian Case.
Chelsea Lena.
Jake Kalinowski.
William Lambros.
Julia Barman.
Adam Massahutin.
Valia Kavrakis.
Daniel Mead.
Grace Keating.
Nicole Mezaselma.
Eric Kiefer.
Gemini Nada.
Allison Kennedy.
Jack O'Byrne.
Robert Kennedy.
Lindsay Papacian.
Maggie Kiernan.
Ryan Papilla.
Kaylin Kilrow.
Sean Ryan.
Austin Kingsley.
Thomas Sarah.
Albert Kizalippi.
Kaylin Smith.
Emily Kovacs.
Johnny Sanjarides.
Kowalchuk. Ryan Kropp. Sean Cutts. John Labruyere. Spencer Labruyere.
Ladies and gentlemen, how about another round of applause for the class of 2021? At this time, it is my privilege to introduce our valedictorian for the class, Ian Case. Intelligent, dedicated, mature, respectful, humble, and kind are words that get tossed around when people think of our valedictorian, Ian Case. Ian is the epitome of an internally driven, well-balanced young man. He independently charts his own course and advocates for that approach in all he sets out to accomplish. He's a young man with a strong moral compass who makes decisions based on what is right for him and his future rather than on what will look good. He sets very high standards for himself, often surpasses them without, from an outside point of view, even breaking a sweat. What cannot be attained by looking at his transcript or his perfect ACT scores is the strength of his character, his positive attitude towards life in general, and his kind heart. Ian has progressed throughout his high school career with ease, challenging some of the most rigorous courses we have to offer. Clearly, one of the most impressive aspects of Ian is his academic success. His literary and intellectual pursuits are sophisticated and well beyond his years. Almost like an adult in a teenager's body, Ian possesses the spirit of an adventurous inquirer, trying to discover the whys of the universe. His transcript demonstrates his ability as well as his curiosity. He's chosen to take a variety of courses which included AP, IB, as well as dual enrollment courses. He decided what was best for him was to broaden his horizons by using a plethora of courses. He was able to complete his graduation requirements well before this year, allowing him time to enroll in college courses online during the afternoon. Outside of the academic setting, Ian's life is full of a number of meaningful activities, including mathletes, where he has competed at the local and national levels, and tennis, where he has been an integral member of our varsity team since 9th grade. This past summer, Ian was searching for ways to give back to the community, as well as spend his time, and so many things canceled due to COVID, he decided to search all over Long Island for a tennis camp where he could volunteer his time teaching his love of the sport to the younger generation. He ended up coaching at a local tennis camp for 6 to 14-year-olds. Although he found it challenging at first trying to get all of the kids to sit still and listen, his dedication and his kind heart made him a natural leader, and they all were quickly mesmerized by him. Ian does not desire the spotlight, even when we all try to shine it on him. He is the type of person who's happy with who he is and where he is. He doesn't crave the attention that comes along with all that he has accomplished. Ian is honestly one of the most modest and unassuming young men I have ever met. He does not boast, he does not brag. He's just happy to share his knowledge with others as a way of helping, learning more. He's constantly striving, challenging himself, whether in his coursework or outside of the classroom, a trait that I'm sure will continue as he leaves us this fall to attend Northeastern University. Ladies and gentlemen, the valedictorian of the class of 2021, Ian Case.
Superintendent Banzer, board members, administrators, teachers, parents, family members, and fellow graduates. I've never spoken in front of this many people before, so before coming up here, I looked to the internet for some inspirational advice on how to start the perfect speech. And much of the internet told me to start with a quote. I found a few, but the one that brought me the most comfort was, "The human brain starts working from the moment you are born and never stops until you stand up to speak in public." And that made me feel a little bit better about going up here. So while I was writing the speech, preparing it, and rehearsing it, and even right now, I really have no idea how it's going to go. Really anything could happen. It could go fantastic, or I could trip over my words and embarrass myself in front of nearly everyone I know. And I can only imagine our lives will be full of these situations, worrying about the unknown and what can happen. We'll stumble into new environments and struggle to keep our footing, but persevere nonetheless. The unknown can be terrifying, but it can also be exhilarating. And we have learned this from our time at Northport High School. We came into the high school as tiny little freshmen who certainly all felt a little scared, each with our own idea of what the high school experience should look like. But when suddenly faced with so many options and things to explore, those ideas soon changed. By putting ourselves out there into new fields, taking that extra art class we weren't sure about, or joining that club we were scared of committing to, we've learned that it's okay to try new things. Even if we didn't like them, we just learned more about ourselves in the process. This journey of self-discovery and finding new interests is never ending and will continue throughout our lives. Yes, our high school experience may not have played out exactly as we envisioned. We might have failed that test, or missed that party, or messed up that presentation. We found our footing, maybe with a little bit of difficulty, but here we are. And as we step further into the unknown, yes, there's a chance our lives could go exactly how we planned, but chances are we're all going to stumble and fall plenty more in the future. The lesson I've spent so much time trying to learn at Northport High School is that it doesn't really matter what happens when I get up on this stage. I can't control the unknown. I can prepare and I can plan and I can practice the speech, but I can't control what happens when I actually get up there. I could literally fall off the stage and it wouldn't really even matter. What really matters is that I accept that I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't spend the weeks before this speech worrying about what could happen when I get up there. And this is a problem I really think many of us have faced throughout high school, overthinking everything. Whether it be worrying about the results of a test, or even after we take it, or being scared to raise our hand in class and ask a dumb question, or just generally not having life go exactly as we planned. There's so much media that dictates how we feel our lives should look or should unfold. Movies and YouTubers all show us glances of what our lives should look like, and we focus on constructing our lives as if we're the protagonist in a story. But while I was writing this speech, I was racking my brain trying to think of some fictional character's journey that I could tie this whole idea together with. Some known trajectory of how our lives have unfolded so far that could easily wrap up our past and future experiences, and I kept coming up empty. For a while, I thought I just couldn't think of the right book, or recall the right movie. But after thinking a little bit harder, I realized the reason I couldn't find anything was because life just isn't as simple as books and movies portray it to be. Films have clear starts and clear endings. An author plans out the plot, connecting each moment before the moment even happens. The beginning can be shaped according to what the creator wants the end to be, and everything is planned out to the finest details. But life just isn't like this. You never know when the next challenge is going to hit you. And it's not like our story ends or that we're done growing after graduating from Northport. The process of growth continues through college and through the rest of our lives. While so many stories place all the emphasis on clear beginnings and clear endings, wrapping life up into a cute little, easily understandable ball, where everything makes sense and each point clearly connects to form a story, life is just so much messier. We just don't know what the story will look like, or where it will take us. But if we focus too much on what it needs to be, we will miss the opportunities for what it could be. And we'll miss the good parts that happen along the way. The downtime spent with friends, the long hours spent working and practicing, all the small little moments that give every big achievement value. Sometimes our obsession of what our lives should look like gets in the way of us actually enjoying that discovery and the wide array of possibilities that life offers. For instance, I've only just realized how quickly my time at Northport High School has passed. And one of my few regrets is that I rarely took the time to stop for a minute, look around, and cherish it. It's so easy to get caught up in making it through the week, constantly thinking, I just gotta finish this paper and take this final, and then I can relax. But this is a never-ending cycle. If you spend your whole life thinking like that, you'll never get to the point where you can actually enjoy it. It's very easy to get caught up in succeeding in life, but the only real way to succeed is by learning to embrace the journey and discover. While it's tempting to create your idea of a perfect future and put everything you have into achieving it, learning that the journey is just as important allows us to love our lives more. In the wise words of Ferris Bueller, life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. And so, to all my fellow graduates, congratulations, we did it. From all of us, thank you teachers, thank you administration, thank you parents, and thank you Northport.
Anytime you can work Ferris Bueller into the speech, it's well done, Ian. Just dated myself a little. At this time, graduates from the tour choir, please join the tour choir back up on the risers. And in a little break from tradition, the tour choir traditionally performing Fields of Gold at our commencement ceremony. Since this year has been anything but traditional, we thought we'd give them a second opportunity to perform today. So please welcome the tour choir performing Let the River Run.
Hi everyone. Senior class decided at the last minute that they would like to share a really special piece with you that we think is really appropriate for what we all went through this year. And they want to thank you for standing by them also.
is the only light we see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. Stand by me, stand by me, stand by me. In the sky, and we look around, she tumble and fall, or the mountains should crumble to the sea. I won't cry. Stand by me, stand by me, stand by me. Whenever you're in trouble, won't you stand by me? Stand by me, stand by me, stand by me, darling, darling, stand by me. Stand by me, stand by me, stand by me, darling, darling, stand by me, stand by me. Stand by me, stand by me.
At this time, I would like to take a moment and thank our Board of Education, our Superintendent, Mr. Banzer, and our Central Office Administration for their hard work on behalf of the class of 2021 and all students of the district. I'd also like to acknowledge the assistance that we've had provided by several groups today. The Northport American Legion for their consistent support of our students in providing refreshments today. The East Northport Fire Department, Dr. Carlos Falcone and Mr. Terrence Hinson, Senior Class Assistant Principals. The members of our counseling staff, our district nursing staff, especially this year, our interpreters for the hearing impaired, a group that I think deserves tremendous recognition, not only for their efforts to make today happen, but for what they have done all year to keep our buildings clean, to keep our buildings safe, and to keep our buildings open, our custodial and our buildings and grounds. I would like to thank Mr. Leonard Devlin and our high school security staff. I would especially like to thank all of the teachers who have joined us here today, as well as all of the members of our clerical department from the counseling center as well as the main office. To all of these individuals, we applaud your tireless effort and your endless dedication to our students and this school community. So thank you. I would also like to thank community member, Mrs. Kaiser, who was kind enough to create that photo backdrop that's in the front of the high school that will be left up all afternoon for students and families that would like to take a picture in front of it. So thank you very much to Mrs. Kaiser. Now, at this time, to bring our ceremony to a conclusion, it is my privilege to welcome to the stage Camden Burke to lead the students in the tassel change.
I guess I have a prepared speech here, so there we go. Fellow graduates, the tassel change signifies the completion of this important stage in our lives and allows us all to recognize our potential for a successful future. Graduates, please stand. Good. At this time, please join us as we change our tassels from right to left.
Good.